I released a video called The Biggest Lie Atheists Tell. I believed it too. This video was not well received by atheists. However, that video also wasn't my best work. Despite terrifying I used to be an atheist, they legitimately used the same arguments I did against me, as if I am unaware they even exist. As someone who used to be in their position, I found the situation extremely humorous, and it sort of became an unofficial experiment, as you'll later see. If you enjoy content like this, where I biblically and logically look at claims made by Christianity, drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Welcome to Veritas. I want to take a quick moment to honor the best comments of the video. I like this one. This one really got me. I have to say, quite the magnificent argumentation. Look at this one. It has some real intellectual prowess about it. Honestly, this one has to be my favorite by far. Yes, comrades, fantastic work, we got him! Now that we have taken a moment to honor some of the best the atheist community on YouTube could muster up, here are some actual professional debaters and religious critics that exist outside the cesspool of the YouTube comment section.
Evil comes in many forms, and likewise for philosophers poses many problems, especially vis-a-vis the existence of God.
Problem of Evil and Some Varieties of Atheism is a very famous article written by William Rowe. Now, William Rowe is, well, let's classify him as a recent American atheist philosopher. He doesn't believe in God, and in this article he uses a very cautious argument against the existence of God. But this is a very nice atheist.
Yeah, so my name's Ben Watkins. My degree is in mechanical engineering, and I work as a nuclear engineer. But kind of my side interest is philosophy, particularly philosophy of religion. And I'm one of the hosts of Real Atheology, a Philosophy of Religion podcast.
Let's get this first part out of the way, because some people don't even know what is happening in their own movements. In this three-part series, I will use the words atheist and new atheist interchangeably. However, an important detail here is that when I use the word atheist, I'm specifically talking about new atheists and new atheism. For those who don't know, new atheism, a contemporary movement within atheism, emerging in the early 21st century, characterized by a militant opposition to religion, the treatment of religious beliefs as inherently irrational or harmful, and the promotion of scientific naturalism as the primary or exclusive basis for knowledge, ethics, and social progress. That definition doesn't fit every single individual, as some devolve into incoherent babble such as the constant haranguing of Sky Daddy over and over again like a mantra, whereas normal atheists just don't believe in a god. They don't feel the incessant need to flaunt their disbelief at every single flicker of religion. In fact, most see the value in religion and would prefer that it existed over not existing. So, if you do not identify with the label of new atheist, do not comment below. This is a very clear warning. Do not comment unless you are a new atheist. You see, some of the new atheists that watched my previous video was unable to conceive of a single fact. Disclaimers and the description section does exist. For people who claimed to be the most intelligent, it seems they are still human. Who would have guessed? As I was writing the script for the previous video on atheism, I realized that the task was both beyond the scope of a single video and also largely irrelevant, since I had another realization. So I kept writing the script and closed it off. When I posted it and the comments first started coming in, I finally saw the opportunity I had. As you can see here, I then used the video as an unofficial experiment, and it was beyond successful. Look at these comments here. They all make the same argument that I already outlined in my video, as if stuck on repeat. I never really responded with any care, because the video at this point meant nothing to me beyond comment farming. The more comments people left, the more the video got pushed until it landed as the highest viewed video on my channel as of the time of writing this script. I'll replay some of the clips again so you can clearly see their claim.
You've broken the rule I gave you, don't think for yourselves. You deliberately went and looked for knowledge. Now you're in rebellion. Now you're going to suffer. Now there's nothing that won't happen to you. I made you and I can break you. And I will. I'll flood you, I'll plague you. Now, what is this? This is like being a terrible insect or rodent in the laboratory of a cruel and stupid person.
The God of the Old Testament is arguably the most unpleasant character in all fiction. Jealous and proud of it, a petty, unjust, unforgiving control freak, a vindictive, bloodthirsty ethnic cleanser, a misogynistic, homophobic, racist, infanticidal, genocidal, filicidal, pestilential, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic, capriciously malevolent bully.
The ironic thing is that atheists consistently say that religious people make the claim, so the burden of proof is on them. But they also make claims. They are just too arrogant to admit it. When I claim that the Christian God exists, I am met with the burden of proof argument. However, when they then feel it's needed to attack the moral character of God, they act as if they have nothing to prove when the opposite is true. The moment that you ask them, well, by what standard are you judging God's moral character? They are very quick to say, no, but I'm just commenting, you made the claim. Or they say, well, I criticize it from a fictional perspective. Or some variation of those. However, they do make a claim, whether God is fictional or not, whether you believe in God or not, those issues are separate from your moral claims. You claim to judge the moral character of God based on the text, which would in turn prompt me to question that claim, specifically to ask by which measure are you judging God? What makes God's actions wrong? What is wrong? This is where you truly start to see the hidden signs of new atheism. I'll discuss those signs in the next video though. For now, let's get back to the argument. New atheists have various ways to answer the question, though every single answer falls embarrassingly short. I'm not going to handle each one individually because that'll take too long. Instead, I'll just give a quick overview of each major position. Some atheists will argue for consequentialism, or in other terms, harm-based ethics. So to boil it down, extreme physical and psychological harm is seen as wrong. Though this makes no sense at its core, because what do we define as pain and suffering? It can only work if we value human well-being, and across time that meant something different to each human society. We choose what we value when we value it. There's no objective measurement. Some atheists will use evolutionary or social survival arguments. To boil it down to a single point, whatever behavior allows society to survive and flourish, which also makes no sense, because survival in itself isn't a reliable method to find truth. We also forget that evolution produced rape, infanticide, and dominance hierarchies, clearly not objective measurements. The limitation is that many things are just wrong objectively so, yet atheism can't say why. They often then appeal to science, which still doesn't give you aught claims, it simply describes mechanisms of the natural world. I can use science to tell you that if you jump off a bridge, gravity will make you go splat. I can't tell you why you should or shouldn't jump. The core problem with new atheists is not that they reject God. Atheists have always rejected God. The problem with new atheism is that it accepts science as the only valid way to knowing anything, even when it backfires on them, such as criticizing the historicity of the Bible while accepting Plato and his ideas on much less evidence. That's just an example, but I'm also sure some won't care and comment about it anyway. They seem to understate the massive impact that religion had on ethics, law, human rights, universities, hospitals, and even science itself. New atheists speak with such moral superiority and certainty that when you ask them what standard they conform to, they forget how a debate works. New atheism also uses reductionism and flaunts it as so deep, when in reality it's a childish and idiotic way to look at the world. New atheists hide behind their label of atheist to say, "No, but I just reject God," when we all know it's just a straight up lie. New atheism is more a blend of functional atheism and philosophical anti-theism. The word atheist is a combination of a and theist. The a denotes a lack of, and theism basically for this argument means God. So by true definition, atheism is just that, a lack in the belief in a god or gods, whereas anti-theism is exactly what it sounds like, an express denial of the existence of God and a complete opposition to religions. Do these comments seem to just lack the belief in a god or gods? No, because then they would also lack an opinion, which they clearly have many of. We also have to remember one thing when we see an atheist insulting God. If we are just matter and information bundled into a conscious being that's hardwired for survival, then your brain can't produce truth or reason worthy of being trusted to begin with. If we were just higher animals, we would still just be animals, unable to truly discover reality at all. So to the new atheists who can't seem to help themselves but attack the character of God, you are a heathen, an idolater, a suppressor of truth, darkened in understanding, a fool blinded by his own ego and lost. What superiority does your morality have above God? Explain and prove what your standard of morality is in the first place before you try to impose it on a being far beyond your limited human mind, a mind that's just chemicals and matter built for survival and not truth, so it can't be trusted anyway. Thank you so much for watching the video. I know not a single atheist is rational enough to leave a coherent thought below. I hope I could show that new atheism is just as, if not more, irrational than the religions that they criticize. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I release the next video. Drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. If you make an effort, I might actually reply without sarcasm. As always, remember Acts 17 verse 11. I am Brandon, this was Veritas, and have a blessed rest of the week.